Hey everyone, I'm T West, and welcome to an arena game between two legends. We have TeRRoR playing as JonSnow in the green, he's the Byzantines, and we have eD playing in the red as the Japanese. Of course, between TeRRoR and eD, we should have some interesting games. So here we are. Different civs this time, both Byzantines and Japanese, pretty good at going for monks. It'll speed stuff up through the Dark Age. And take a look at their maps. JonSnow has both of his boar and all of his deer inside his base. That'll be good for him to lure. He has his main gold in the back, secondary gold in the back, and an extra gold in the back. So that looks pretty good for him. Other secondary gold forward, but not too far forward, is kind of to the side. But his secondary stone is kind of far forward, and his main stone is towards the front of his base. So his golds look really nice, but his stones are a bit exposed. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have eD. Both of his main resources are pretty far forward. He does have 4 deer inside his base, though. That'll be nice. Has an extra or secondary gold in the back. Both of his boars inside of his base. And secondary gold and stone off to the side here is a bit closer to the extra stone. Looks like there's a pile of 4 extra stones this time. And the other extra gold over here on the side of the map. We have 4 relics, all 5 relics actually, pretty close to each other. A nice little line across the map. 2 right next to TeRRoR, 3 a bit further out. But it looks like TeRRoR should have a good advantage in getting the relics. Meanwhile, both players building up. eD lowering his boar, putting the mill on his berries. Gonna use his scout to start pushing those deer in towards the town center. If we look at his scouting, he's scouted around the outside of his base. He sees that there's nothing in the back of his base yet. And TeRRoR, pretty much the same thing. He's scouted the back, found the extra resources, found all of his main resources and 2 of the relics, and now he's just bringing in his boar. That was a bit outside the town center, but not too bad. And setting a villager to build the house and take the second boar. TeRRoR, of course, likes to build the house on the way to taking the boar. And now he's going to start pushing in his deer. His deer are a bit further away, so it will be a bit more difficult for him than for eD, but he should still be able to do it. Gonna put down another lumber camp. eD pushing in his deer. Still on 1 lumber camp with 3 on wood. Looks like he only put 3 on wood because the Japanese, your lumber camp costs only 50 wood instead of 100 wood, so it is a bit cheaper and you don't need as many villas on wood. Sometimes you'll see players, instead of just building the standard 1 lumber camp, when they send 4 to wood, they'll build 2 lumber camps and put 2 villas on each, just because it's the same cost as building 1 lumber camp. But still pushing in those deer, bringing the sheep underneath his town center. And he's going to be clicking up really quickly on 23 population. He likes to do this sometimes. He can get up really quickly, and we'll see what he does with that as the Japanese. Of course, that cheap lumber camp is really going to help him out, as well as the cheap mill. So saving 100 wood, only needs 4 villagers on wood, 2 on gold, and we'll see what he does with his stone when he clicks up. He's going to be up a lot faster than TeRRoR, who went up on 26 villagers, which is pretty standard. He's going to have 2 on gold, 8 on wood, the rest on food, with 4 on his berries, and he's going to start adding in farms. But now that eD is up to the feudal age, we'll see immediately going market and blacksmith. Hasn't even had to build a farm yet because he's so fast. Except for those 4 on berries still. And now sending more villagers to gold, so it looks like he's going to get aggressive with some monks. And we'll look at his stone. Yep, sells his stone to get some gold, and clicks up. Building a second mining camp, of course, to help the villager pathing and to bring the gold in more quickly. So eD's up to the castle age, clicking up before TeRRoR even gets feudal. That vill, it's going to stand there idle for a bit. Hopefully eD notices that soon. Now, going to add in some farms, and let's see. As eD goes up to the castle age, and we'll see where he goes. He sees all the relics are in the middle of the map. He's seen 4 of them, and the 5th one's just outside of his line of sight. He'll probably see it with that scout soon. There we go. TeRRoR, meanwhile, hasn't scouted outside of his base yet. Gonna need to start doing that soon. Just sending the scout out now. And we'll see what eD does, sending 2 vills forward, deleting a piece of wall so that they don't have to walk around. Going all the way around that gate would take longer. And now building the monastery. outside of where TeRRoR is scattered, 2 monasteries actually. It's like TeRRoR is very impressed by that fast castle time. Looks like he is winning the scout fight, but yep, he will see the monastery. He knows that he's going for monks, and we'll see if eD follows up with more monasteries or with a siege workshop. Yep, going with another monastery right now. And once he does get out a monk, he can heal up the scout and use the healed scout to attack TeRRoR's scout. But we'll see how he tries to defend this. And immediately puts down 3 monasteries of his own. Byzantines not quite having the eco advantage that the Japanese have with their cheaper wood, but they are still a very good monk civ, even better because they do get heresy. That's one thing the Japanese do lack. They have all the monk techs except for heresy. Heresy, of course, being the tech that kills your own units instead of them being converted. And it's very important if you go into a massive monk war like we're going to see here with 3 monastery from each player. But Siege Workshop coming up from eD. JonSnow doing Atonement because he's seen the monasteries, and once he sees the Siege Workshop, we'll probably see him do Redemption. Doesn't have much gold though. Looks like he's also sold his stone. Let's see. Still only on 1 TC, so he's also sold his stone to have the gold he needs to push out with monks. Of course, eD gonna come in with a battering ram, and since monks need to be adjacent to the battering ram to convert it, you can't stop rams with monks. You really need some mangonels, but of course the monks can convert the mangonels. Now, even a 4th monastery from JonSnow. Now, he hasn't done Sanctity yet, and since eD is just going for monks, he doesn't actually need it, because whether a monk has 30 HP or 45 HP, a conversion is still a conversion. And we'll check eD's scouting. JonSnow, one way he could defend this is by going for scouts or skirmishers, so it's probably a good decision by eD to get it, but now he sees JonSnow going for the monk defense. JonSnow even using the villagers to attack the ram, gonna try to protect it with the scout, and JonSnow will lose a villager there, but the ram does go down, keeps the monastery up. And will that scout get converted? No, we just see the monk fight going on now. There's now a 4th monastery coming up from eD as he starts pushing in. TC fire from JonSnow. We'll see how is he walling. He's not really walling his base, but monks are so slow he doesn't really need to. Could be dangerous if the monks come over here, but that could be a bit of an overcommit by eD. Now eD coming forward with the mangonel. Now, looks like JonSnow has done Sanctity, so they will be able to tank a mangonel shot. Mangonel's doing 40 damage, and monks having 45 HP with Sanctity. Without Sanctity, they only have 30 HP, so they do die from a hit. But the mangonel getting converted, getting a hit on the monks, then getting converted right back, as the monks are going to heal each other up. Probably would have been good. Oh, gets another conversion on the mangonel as it comes back to JonSnow. And does manage to take out a monk, but JonSnow should probably delete that as eD gets it back again. It was the eD 22-7 has a huge advantage. And we're going to see that not enough faith message continue to pop up as both players continually clicking their monks and right-clicking the other player. Mangonel does get taken out, but eD now has a sizable advantage in his monks. Let's take a look at TeRRoR's economy. Has a lot of gold, does have 4 monastery where he's producing monks. Queued up a bit inefficiently, could cancel 1, put it in here. But eD coming forward now with a 5th monastery, and JonSnow just sees all the monasteries, he sees all the monks that are coming in, and he's just going to defend this with monks. It will be difficult, of course, for eD to continue pushing in towards the town center. And yep, 2 little pieces of palisade wall. You only need palisade wall because, of course, monks can't attack them, and they can't convert walls either. This mill is a weak point that he could try to convert the mill and then delete the mill. But getting a few conversions on JonSnow's villagers, eD does right now. He even has a large villager lead. Has the villager lead, has the military lead, has a huge pop lead. JonSnow's going to retreat under that town center, and it's going to be difficult to push into that town center without any siege because the monks will just die so quickly to that arrow fire. And JonSnow could lose a monastery here, but he is going to push out with these villagers, trying to attack the ramp, but those villagers will get converted unless he goes and deletes them. They're going to try to run back, not going to make it under the TC, but the TC will get the kill, so just as good as deleting it. Oh, but that one doesn't go into the TC and gets picked off by a monk. Now, JonSnow doing heresy, that's the one advantage he has over the Japanese. The Byzantines get heresy. So his monks now, instead of getting converted, they will die. But eD with 2 battering rams, of course going with the battering rams because they're so much harder to convert than mangonels, and they'll also be able to survive underneath that town center. but slowly taking out TeRRoR's monasteries. He's forced to rebuild more in the back, has a lot of villagers on gold, taking both his main and secondary gold, still has this gold back here he can move to, so his economy still is okay, but he is falling behind on villagers, with all of them getting converted, and having so many idle, needing to keep 5 inside of that town center, because if he didn't have them there, the monks would just be able to walk through it and get to the back of his eco, so he needs the arrow fire from that town center. But eD continues taking out his monastery, but now it's going to be a lot harder for eD to continue pushing in with monks because of that heresy for JonSnow. We can see the monks dying. Such loyalty to JonSnow that they're not going to turn over to eD. Still, not much in the way of an economy, just putting down monastery after monastery, trying to defend with monks. And even the town center getting some attacks on the ram, not going to do too much damage. Looks like it's doing about 7 damage per volley of arrows. So that monastery is going to go down. And JonSnow going to be reduced down again to 3 monasteries once this other one goes down. Had to build 2 more in the back. That costs quite a bit of wood. Villager trying to repair the ram, but looks like it's going to get converted. Or nope, switches over and actually converts a monk. Gets another monk up here. And now we see the military count starting to even out, as when JonSnow gets a conversion, he gains 1, but when eD gets a conversion, he doesn't. And more rams pushing in. Rams gonna attack that town center, and that is JonSnow's only town center. It is a Byzantine town center though, so it does get some more hit points. So we'll survive quite a bit from those rams. And now even a 6th monastery coming down from eD. He is going all in with these monks. Let's take a look at his economy. He is still on 1 town center, 44 villagers, and looks like his town center is still producing villagers, but only 1 town center. Has to concentrate on gold, and his main gold is gonna run out soon. He's gonna need to move those villagers. Has a back gold that he can take, and we'll probably need to move them out here to this gold. Let's get back to TeRRoR as the rams are pushing in underneath the town center. He still has a lot of gold, but just now letting the villagers out, trying to attack the rams with this villager. Will probably kill the ram, then hop back into the TC maybe? Nope, just gonna go straight for the next one. It would, if monks were converting them and they hopped into the TC, it would break their conversion. But it looks like he does manage to get a conversion on the ram. That's gonna help him a lot in taking out the other ram. And it looks like he is managing to push this attack back. Heresy making a big difference, and now the TC fire going to be able to kill a few monks. Trying to convert the ram back, but the monk's just going to go down. And looks like eD for now has been stopped. Tried to go all in and take out that TC. If that TC goes down, JonSnow dies, but right now eD still has a much stronger economy, but doesn't look like he's going to try to add in any other units. He's invested so much into these monks and those monk researches, he's just going to keep going with them. Of course, atonement and redemption being very costly on your gold. But 3 more monks getting converted, 4 actually getting converted from eD. Gonna try to cast them back, but they just get killed. And now JonSnow actually has double the military, or double the monks of eD. He's pushing in, taking out this forward monastery with the converted ram. eD just has 1 villager over here. And JonSnow started to pull this back. There is a huge difference of 15 villagers though. Byzantines, of course, they do get a much cheaper Imperial Age, but he's had so many idle villages this entire time. His economy is so weak, but Heresy making a huge difference in the Monk War, allowing him to push this back. eD has also had a few idols out here. They have been building houses though, keep them kind of busy. JonSnow actually about to hit his pop limit now with some conversions, so he needs to start building more houses again. Still has 4 monasteries in the back as his front ones were taken out. He just kept building on in the back. Didn't panic, just kept building monks. But now we see the scores starting to come back together. JonSnow needs to push out now. And he has a lot of gold. We'll see what he tries to do. Maybe he'll try to go imp. The Byzantines, of course, do have a really cheap Imperial Age, so that is always an option for them. Could even try to rebuild that lumber camp. But now let's see if he gets aggressive or what he tries to do. So he's going to start converting these houses as his rams will take out the monasteries. Of course, you can't destroy a monastery, but looks like eD's going to be deleting buildings so that they don't get converted. eD will need to rebuild some houses at his own base. As we see, he's about 20 away from the pop limit, but now JonSnow catching up a tiny bit in villagers, but still down by, well, a lot. But he will get the relics back from eD, though, because right now eD has 5 relics, and he will lose that once JonSnow destroys those monasteries. And JonSnow building a mill, doesn't have the wood for farms, so just going to build a mill. And eD, we see doing light cavalry, doing forging. He's going to try to make some stables and push into those monks with light cavalry. But that is a lot of monks. That's 34 monks, or 33 monks, or 32 monks and 2 rams by JonSnow. And eD's going to need quite a lot of light cavalry to be able to push in. Light cavalry, of course, do resist conversion. They and Eagle Scouts, or Eagle Warriors, both have very good resistances against conversion. Most other units, though, get converted very quickly. So light cavalry are a good choice. Another option is skirmishers, because they're so cheap, and monks, they do have 0 pierce armor, so skirmishers can take them out pretty well. But JonSnow, yep, now he's clicked up to the Imperial Age. He will be able to get those very crucial monk upgrades of theocracy, block printing, and illumination, meaning his monks regain their faith faster. He'll be able to convert, well, he'll be able to micro a lot easier, since only one monk will need to convert. Will need to regain faith after a conversion if a bunch of monks convert as a group. And then block printing, of course, so powerful, giving your monks +3 range for a total of 12. So eD looks like he is going to be massing up light cavalry. He does still have a pretty big villager lead, and that will grow as JonSnow only on 1 TC, and it is advancing to the Imperial Age. He has moved back to take this gold, and it's very good that he has so much safe gold, because he needs it to continue up production of these monks. Looks like he's stopped for now, but he'll probably keep that production up again. Has converted a few of these houses, and eD's complaining that he doesn't get heresy, because that tech did make a huge difference in that monk fight. But JonSnow hasn't spotted the stables yet. eD doing the attack upgrade. Of course, you only need the attack upgrade. The defense upgrade doesn't do anything against monks. And if you do get converted, then it's easier to kill scouts if they don't have the defense upgrade on. So you really need to prioritize the attack upgrade. And still trying to convert a few more houses as he picks up the relics. And now JonSnow is going to have 5 relics. Now, husbandry from eD, so that the cavalry can close the distance faster and attack the monks. But JonSnow has quite a bit of food and quite a bit of gold. He will be able to produce monks and could even sell food for monks. But we'll see if he tries to mix in any other units. Byzantines, of course, having very cheap trash, can add in some skirmishers to complement the monks. If he sees all the cavalry, can add in some spearmen, pikemen, halberdier to help counter them. But now he hits the Imperial Age with almost no economy. eD's impressed by that. And eD's just massing up these cavalry from 3 stable, and we'll see how many he can get. Has about 20, but with about 40 monks, especially with the Imperial Age upgrade, he's gonna need more than just this to push into the monks. He's gonna need to catch them out of position and get into a really good fight. TeRRoR just needs to make sure his micro is on point when he converts. And gonna start moving in with the battering rams. Only a little piece of palisade wall, so he will be able to get in. And eD will see that. We'll see, when does JonSnow see the light cav? They're gonna go outside the gate. Hasn't seen them yet. Battering rams are gonna come in. Monks are coming around. See, eD doesn't see the monks yet, but he probably knows where they are. He sees the monks. Monks are starting to convert. Probably should delete some of this wall. There he goes. Gonna get the engagement on the monks, but that's a lot of monks. They're gonna move into this little corner so that the light cav can't attack them, and they're gonna start getting conversions. And remember, these are Byzantine monks, so they get advantages in that they heal faster. So these light cav, when they take the fight, they're actually gonna be stronger than eD's light cav because they're getting healed. And now the light cavalry numbers for eD going down, but still sending more in. Gonna be able at least to take out the battering rams. And is getting quite a few kills on the monks, but he's losing his army, and TeRRoR is just getting his own army of light cavalry as he keeps sending in more monks. And that villager looks like she's gonna go down. eD had even tried to fight with some villagers, trying to take out the rams with the villager. That ram looks like it'll go down. One more hit, there we go. And the light cavalry here. Another villager there in the corner just chilling. Monks from eD trying to come in, but not going to be nearly as effective as TeRRoR's Imperial Age monks with heresy. And those monks just going to get taken out by the light cavalry. Not going to be converted back because of that heresy. And TeRRoR's managed to hold here. Managed to push this back, and that was so much food that eD just used on those light cav. He's floating a lot of wood, but he's not making anything with wood. And we see him adding in some archery ranges now, and he has added in another town center. So he does still have the stronger eco. He does still have a lead of about 20 villagers, and we'll see, maybe he'll look to add in some skirmishers. But he is still making light cav in the back. But JonSnow now, he has his own light cavalry, so he can do some raiding. Gonna take out a few villagers here. And we'll see what he can scout of eD's base. He does see the walls, but eD will... JonSnow does see the stables, but eD will wall, keep the cavalry out of his wood line. Only has 4 villagers there, though. Will be able to use this town center to keep himself safe, and it has another town center on his wood line there. And could even come out the back, use this wall to keep himself safe, putting up more farms in the back of his base, making more stables, making more light cavalry, just trying to get a mass big enough to be able to push into these monks. Now TeRRoR is going to be adding in some spearmen and still producing monks from 4 monastery. He has so much gold. He's finished 2 whole gold mines, almost finished with this 3rd gold mine, and is moving on to the 4th. Needs to build a mining camp there. Either he sent the villagers there or they just pathed themselves over there. But now TeRRoR has all the map control, even though eD is going to move out with those scouts. But eD just doesn't have the forces he needs to take an engagement. Now that JonSnow has his own light cavalry, and he's going to need a lot to push in. And trying to pick off some monks at the back will do a good job of that as the monks are streaming in. The light cav will pick them off quite easily. So JonSnow's aware of that now, maybe. It looks like he's sending the monks back. No, trying to get some converts. But don't leave the gate open, get inside the gate. There we go. So eD not going to be able to do too much damage there other than picking off some monks. Now capped rams from JonSnow. Pushing in, mining eD's stone. And eD running out of resources. He's running out of wood. He's low on food, and he needs that food to produce the light cavalry. All these stables are idle, and eD's eco, only 10 villager lead now, is dropping down, but the light cav coming in from behind, but TeRRoR can just take his converted light cav and fight them off. The monk's gonna get a few more conversions. More light cav coming in now from the bottom, trying to catch these light cav out of position and kill a few more monks. But TeRRoR is able to defend with the spearmen there, even to take out the light cavalry. Monks behind to heal his own light cavalry. Looks like he'll still be able to take this fight. Another barracks coming down. Gonna try to get out some more spears. And yep, there goes eD's economy. He doesn't have any more food to produce these cavalry. He has only, let's see, only 20 farmers. And JonSnow can just make a few spearmen and push them back. Let's check. Maybe he could look into getting the pikeman upgrade. Could buy some food even if he needs to. But now, Pop's so close. But the military from JonSnow, so many units that eD just can't push back. He doesn't have the economy to keep producing from these stables. See, he does have them. He does have most of them queued up. This one is idle low. And he just needs a large enough force to push into this. But every time he pushes in, he's just giving JonSnow more units. Now, town center, gonna try to get some attacks on the monks. Now, TeRRoR has a lot of monks in the back, so even if the light cav do come out around the side again, those monks will be able to get some conversions. But these monks kind of by themselves, TeRRoR doesn't have his monks together, but that's a lot of spearmen now gonna come in around, chasing the monks around the barracks. That's bad positioning by the spearmen, not getting the engagement they need on the light cavalry, but now they're in position, gonna take them out. So many light cav going down for eD. And now his stables are going to start going down. He needs to start building archery ranges, but this archery range just got converted. Not much else he can produce out of the archery ranges. Maybe he'll try to go for skirmishers, but there's a GG. This push from TeRRoR just too strong. eD wasn't able to push it back, wasn't able to mass the units he needed. He committed so heavily into this monk fight at the start, but the heresy upgrade from TeRRoR, even though eD did a great job at the start of pushing in, once TeRRoR got that heresy upgrade, he was able to hold off and push eD back. And that's an expensive upgrade costing 1,000 gold, but it really saved him the game. And light cav, eD just didn't have enough of them. Byzantines, of course, once they convert, they heal the light cav and they heal them quickly. So once he gets a few light cavalry, these converted light cavalry are actually going to be more powerful than just the ones from eD that are not backed up by monks. So a very good game from two legends of Arena. Let's take a look at the achievements. And eD did lead in score, but wasn't able to sustain his push. Military stats. Of course, we see 83 units converted by TeRRoR, 66 by eD. Economy. TeRRoR focused a lot on gold since he was producing those monks, but if we look at the food and wood, eD had such a stronger economy, but that Byzantine bonus of getting you to the Imperial Age quickly can be very powerful on Arena, as we saw TeRRoR was able to click up. But eD, what a great build from him. 23 villagers, got a 1345 castle time. That really gave him the early advantage in the numbers of monks. And villager high, not many villagers from either player, both fighting on weak economies, trying to keep as many monks as they could on the field. We saw eD did collect those relics at the beginning, but then TeRRoR got them back at the end. And quick look at the timeline, as we see eD took that colossal early advantage, but then TeRRoR was able to push it back. Okay, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.